Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am.
Nino Brown Boxing, and I'm back in the building. Shout out to the LDBC. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. So we are officially 1 week away from the weigh-in of Guillermo Rigondeaux versus Lomachenko. I'm extremely excited about this fight. I'm glad that it's finally been made. I think that this is one of the most important fights in boxing, and the fact that it's actually been made, it's just a wonderful thing for the sport overall. Now, the reason I decided to start the video off mentioning the weigh-in, because the weight has been a major factor, and it's like a huge focal point of this fight. It's been focused on when it came to the negotiations of the past. It's been a huge focal point leading up to this fight, the preparation of the fight, and it will be a huge focal point even during the weigh-in and the night of the fight. Now, when it comes to the whole weigh-in in itself, like, I'm curious to see what Guillermo Rigondeaux is gonna officially weigh in at. I really have no idea what this guy's gonna weigh in at, and I'm just curious to see it. But I'm even more curious to find out what his unofficial weight will be. And sometimes, you know, people don't have that unofficial weight and it's not posted, but I would definitely really want to know what his unofficial weight, you know, the way that he'll be the night of the fight, what it'll be like. Is this guy's weight gonna go down the night of the fight? Now, for me, if that was to happen, it would definitely be a first for me. Like, I've never seen an official weight be more than the unofficial weight. And if anyone else is saying that, you know, let me know in the comments section. I'd definitely like to look into it. You know, stuff like that, it fascinates me. So like, going beyond that, just talking about the fight in general, my prediction is simple. I'm predicting Rigo to defeat Lomachenko. First thing first, like, a lot of people talking about the weight and how it's such a huge factor. Now, Guillermo Rigondeaux is a small guy. Like, it's no way around that. Like, that's fact. But at the same time, like, Guillermo Rigondeaux is fighting at 122, and he's dominating in that division. So my thing is, and unless it's false, I definitely heard a few weeks ago that they have a rehydration clause in this fight. The rehydration clause is like 138 pounds, I believe. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But if I'm wrong, you can correct me in the comments section. But I heard it is a rehydration clause in this fight. Now, so it just got me thinking about everything overall, and I'm just trying to piece things together. Like, when it comes to this weight, like, for me, the way I look at weight, numbers are numbers. It doesn't matter if you're a 126-pound fighter or if you fight at middleweight or super middleweight. Numbers are always numbers. 1 pound will always be 16 ounces. So it is what it is. With that being said, it's like a lot of people they're not really taking into consideration the numbers when it comes to the weight jump from 122 to 130. That's only an 8-pound difference. Like, that's 1 pound different from a junior welterweight jumping up to welterweight, 140 jumping to 147. And we have plenty of boxers, we have plenty of fighters in the history of boxing that has gone up from 130, 135 to 140 to 147 to 154, even the middleweight. Like, Cotto debuted, I just checked on BoxRec, Cotto, he debuted at, his weigh-in was 139 pounds. And Cotto's gone up all the way up to middleweight. Now, I know he's fought at some catch weights or whatever it may be, but at the same time, you know, a lot of fighters have been in the ring with guys that outweigh them by more than 10 pounds, by more than 20 pounds. And a guy as skilled as Guillermo Rigondeaux, a guy with the defense as spectacular as Rigondeaux, I really don't see the weight playing like that big of a role. I understand that Lomachenko is a very skilled fighter, But at the same time, if Floyd Mayweather got in the ring with Canelo, and yes, and I understand that Guillermo Rigondeaux and Floyd Mayweather, they don't have the same exact style, and I understand that Canelo and Lomachenko styles are not really similar at all. I get it. I understand all of that. I'm just focusing on the numbers of the weight right now. When it comes to the weight, Guillermo Rigondeaux really isn't doing anything that doesn't happen on a regular basis in boxing. Like, you got a guy like Austin Trout, and he just fought Jared Hurd. Jared Hurd, like, he's a big dude. Like, he's a big dude in there. And I'm sure the weight difference would be extremely similar, like give or take a half a pound to a pound when it comes to what their weight difference is on a night of the fight. And it seems like people aren't considering the fact that these small weight classes, they're separated by, 4 pounds here and 6 pounds there. It seems like a lot of people aren't taking into consideration that as they move up in weight, it's a normal thing for you to move up 7 pounds when you're going to 140 to 147. And white people don't really look at that sideways. But in those lower weight classes, that's almost a two weight class jump. I mean, what some would call daring to be great if they're looking at the whole Kilbert, Gennady Golovkin situation. And me personally, I feel like the weight is just going to be something that was focused on so much leading up to the fight, and I think the whole factor of the weight is going to it's not even going to live up to the hype. I don't think the weight is going to play a role in the outcome of this fight. Just by Lomachenko's style, like, he's not about to walk. He's not going to walk Guillermo Rigondeaux down. Like, I don't see that happening at all. And his power, when it comes to his divisions that he's been fighting in, it hasn't been anything spectacular. I mean, he hits a lot of his opponents with pity pat punches, and he doesn't have devastating one-punch knockout power for his division. He didn't have it at 130, and he didn't have it at 126. So, considering that these divisions are only 4 pounds apart, 122, 126, and 130, if you're not, I just don't see how the weight is going to play that big of a role. Like, I feel like the weight will only be a big difference if Guillermo Rigondeaux did something ridiculous and he bulked up to 140 pounds like the night of the fight, and he's a completely different fighter. He's looking completely different. His physique is completely different from how it is in any of his other previous bouts. Excuse me, y'all. Like, I'm extremely tired right now, but I wanted to get this video out. Unless, Rigo decides to do something completely out of the norm that would negatively affect him, I don't think Lomachenko's size with his punching power is going to make a difference. Like, Lomachenko's style isn't, he's not like that Klitschko type where he's towering over you and he's leaning on you, and he's going to put all his weight on you to wear you down, get you fatigued, and then he's going to outbox you and potentially knock you out in the later rounds because of all of his strength and all of his additional weight. Like, that's not Lomachenko. That's not what he does. Lomachenko loves to utilize his footwork. He likes to, do a little flashy shit with his hands and hop from side to side. And it seemed like, to me, I'd say if you're going to focus on the weight, you need to focus on the experience factor too. Like, Guillermo Rigondeaux has more experience than Lomachenko as an amateur, for one. We like to bring up their wonderful amateur resumes and the 2 gold medals like something that's phenomenal in itself. Guillermo Rigondeaux still has a lot more experience as an amateur, and he has more experience as a pro. So with that being said, it's just, I think this fight is 50-50. I think Guillermo Rigondeaux is just going to I think he's going to defeat Lomachenko. What's the outcome? I haven't even thought of that yet. I got to sit back and, reflect on everything. Maybe look at some previous fights from both of these guys and come to my decision. So I really don't know about that part yet. But I think people are focusing too much on the weight and not enough on the experience factor when it comes to pro experience for Rigo. And then if you look at it like the resume of Lomachenko, you know, he doesn't really have the best pro experience. Like I was looking at someone's video. I always forget, man. I need to do better when it comes to giving these guys shout outs when they inspire me to come up with a different point for my videos. But I was looking at a video and somebody was talking about like Lomachenko has a lot of in-house fights, and a lot of those fights, you know, were to bring him along and to build him up and put him in a better position. Now, they kind of failed when it came to Orlando Salido, but at the same time, you know how boxing politics, they completely erased that loss anyway. So, you know, hey, the game goes on. But with that point being made, it's like, I think the experience factor is definitely going to play a role. A lot of people aren't paying attention to it. And a lot of people are focused on the fact that Lomachenko, the Rigondeaux weight class jump is 2 weight classes for the smaller guys. But at the same time, if that was somebody jumping from 175 to cruiserweight, that's a 25-pound difference. You know, somebody jumping from junior welterweight to welterweight, that's a 7-pound difference. And I just don't think it's going to play that big of a role. But that's just my opinion on it. You know, leave your comments, leave your suggestions down there. I'll definitely check it out. But until then, just Nino Brown Boxing. Shout out to the LDBC. Peace.